The obvious is the worst thing, the most difficult thing for many, many people to recognize. The obvious, the end of certain, the end of eras, the end of an epoch, the end of a time in which people are told the end, by the way, of something which is the most important thing in the world to recognize, and that's to see the writing on the wall. And sometimes the writing on the wall can be written by a variety of people, a variety of folks, a variety of individuals who have not necessarily been a part of the mainstream narrative, but who are important very, very, how do I say this? Very, 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 very carefully. My friends, as you know, we are seeing the end of a time period in which people are for the longest time not recognizing the fact that things change. And sometimes President Trump can accelerate that change. He can exacerbate the change or perhaps hasten that particular change enzymatically, almost like a catalyst, speeding ahead of that which is required. Now, do not think for a moment that we ended Jimmy Kimmel, that our side ended Jimmy Kimmel, that President Trump bullied the end of Jimmy Kimmel. No, 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 no. That didn't happen. It didn't happen. It'd be nice to think that. There are times when things end. You are in the middle of a cataclysmic sea change in terms of political commentary, politics, name it. But let me tell you something right now. Do not laud the end of free speech. Do not be excited. Do not become excited over the idea of a sitting president basically strong arming a president or a person. Do not do this. Do not do this. It is very ill advised. Very. Let me tell you something right now. You may not like this. You may not care for this. I don't. Think beyond the immediate. Think about the president of the United States suing the New York Times for $15 billion. Imagine the next president, I don't know who, Gavin Newsom, God forbid, suing Alex Jones. Well, he's been sued. Breitbart, the New York Post, somebody that you might like. Yesterday was Constitution Day. I think it was, yes. I think. Yes. We do not throw the Constitution away. But in the meantime, while we're doing this, remember, this is Schadenfreude. This is a bunch of people who have never been in the business, who all of a sudden are lauding and gloating over the fact that there's the end of this. Okay? Now, how do we really analyze this? I will explain this to you. But let me explain something which is very, 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 very important. Okay? Very, very important. Alex Jones recently has been talking about something. One of his predictions, one of his Pythonic moves, has been to suggest that people are suggesting to him that there is going to be some form of civil war, civil unrest, and one of the issues will be the contrived, the forced, the manufactured race wars, or an incident involving a black person killed by police, shot by police. This is coming up. George Floyd 2. People trying to trigger race wars. People trying to trigger rather. Wait, let me turn my woozoo. Gotta have my woozoo. Anyway, people trying to do this. Before, if I had mentioned civil wars and false flags. Well, in fact, if you mention this to most people who are not in our particular way of thinking, but if you mention this, they won't know what you're talking about. But straight strikes and supply chain collapses and domestic terrorism, lockdowns, freakouts, blackouts, EMP riots. Shall I go on? It is not tomorrow's fanciful nightmare. It is today's reality. The systems, the production lines that we trusted and always assumed would be there are crumbling by design on time. Planned obsolescence. 1 week without food and you'll learn fast. Cash, cards, Bitcoin, even gold, none of this is going to feed your family because survival is in theory, it's primal, it's primordial, it's instinctual, it's atavistic. Food, water, energy, ammo, that's it. And that's why My Patriot Supplies 3-month food kit, why it matters. Over 2,000 calories a day, 22 meal varieties, a shelf life of up to 25 years. And right now, you get a free 4 weeks bonus, $247 bonus. Now, listen, the world has changed. You know it, and I know it. And hunger is the oldest weapon of control. Don't wait. Don't wait for disaster to prove it. Preparation isn't paranoia, it's survival. Click the link in the description section, preparewithlionel.com. Very simple, one word, preparewithlionel.com. Secure your food, protect your family, and secure your future. Now, while there's time, preparewithlionel.com. Now, let me explain something. Somebody said, Jimmy Kimmel cannot claim First Amendment because Jimmy Kimmel is not in jail. I don't know where this comes from. They think that the First Amendment means putting somebody in jail for their speech. That might be something to think of, but that's not necessarily what a First Amendment violation looks like. Ryan joins us. Ryan says, in our super chat, he says, we all know that the First Amendment contains the government from impeding our speech, but could Kimmel sue, arguing that the federal government pressured the networks over mergers? No. Can he sue? Yes. I can sue for anything I want. Can he win? Does he have a viable cause of action? No, sir, he does not. No. But here's the question. When somebody brings this up to you, you have to say, in essence, hey, where were you? Where were you? Where were you when this came up? Where were you when they came after us? When they were going to shatter Alex Jones through bankruptcy, taking this notion of his libeling and the like, and extrapolating that beyond all reason and all rational thought. Where were you when many of us had our platforms where we made, this was our livelihood, where we were demonetized by efforts on the Biden administration who talked to proxy voters, proxy people, proxy agents who basically involve themselves in forcing these people to how do I say, to enforce, to come after us. This is the issue that I have. How do you explain that? See, nobody cares about that. Nobody cares in the least. So what I'm saying is, I appreciate your concern over the First Amendment. I appreciate it. In fact, I will join you. I will join you 100%. I will join you. But however, I got to ask you a question. Where were you when they came after us? When they came after me? When they came after my friends and our friends? Where were you when Fauci and others in CDC and that, what's her name, not Walensky, but others, and the Twitter files basically verified this. Where were you when you weaponized the government to destroy our free speech? You were nowhere to be found. you didn't care a thing about this, but now you do. So this is what's important. This is what's critical. It doesn't mean putting people in jail. It doesn't mean criminal law. But no, but with that in mind, please be very careful of this even being possible. Please be careful. Please, please, please be careful. Please be careful over the idea, and this is critical, be careful over the idea of what he could do to us. Be careful of what he could do. I can't say it enough. I can't say it enough. Be very careful about what he could do to us and how he could come out. Basically, do a lot of things. Look. The real patriot here is somebody who has to say, I'm looking at the big picture, not only those things that affect me. I'm not looking at those things only that affect me. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not looking at those things that affect me, just me. But that notwithstanding, let me explain to you a couple of things here. And listen to me. If Jimmy Kimmel were the ratings powerhouse, the ratings bellwether, the ratings vanguard, if he were exactly that, you couldn't stop. They would tell the president, how dare you even suggest for a moment this. No way. You can't tell us what to do. You can't. That is precisely what this is about. If he was the ratings juggernaut, nobody was saying anything about it. Johnny Carson said this repeatedly. And this was during some of the most tumultuous times in American history. Same thing for Jack Parr. Same thing for Steve Allen and others. Jay Leno. You really didn't know what they believed politically because they kept it out. But my friends, don't you understand something? Something happened to these people. Something happened where they became, in essence, Karens. They became these people who thought they can force their opinion on you. They can, that you're going to hear what they have to say. And they sat around like the guy at the end of the bar, like some minimized Algonquin round table, shaking their fist in this weird unison, shaking their fist and saying, and saying, this is the way we do things. I want to show hate. I want to show anger. I want to show a concomitant kind of to be a part of this collective scrum. That's what I want to do. That's where I want to be. And this is the way we do it. And it's funny. And it's funny also to joke about Trump's death, Trump's beheading. Look at Kathy Griffin. That this is funny. And I don't know why they did it. And you can explain it. Maybe you can sit around and explain it. I don't know. Colbert found this out. And it just so happens this is the world of the business of show business. Every single person that we know who's in the business, in the media, knows all about this. They can fire you. They wanted to fire somebody. I was on Redacted yesterday. I hope you saw it. And there was a piece of it was this wonderful piece that showed, how do I say this? It showed no, Natalie said that she heard of somebody one time who was fired because their hair was frizzy or something. I mean, this may sound tacky to you, and it is. But the people who are in there in the business of this, who own duties, fiduciary duties to their shareholders, are not interested in anything but the bottom line. And it simply comes down to this. You had better produce the bottom line. You had really better produce the bottom line. You had better really, honest to God, understand the... Now, Jimmy Kimmel, for whatever it's worth, thought, I'm Jimmy Kimmel. You can't get rid of me. I'm Jimmy Kimmel. I'm Jimmy Kimmel. I'm the greatest. I'm the biggest. You can't get rid of me. I'm Jimmy Kimmel. And I go out there and I am so funny. And the people who have their writers write for them really believe in a very strange way. They believe that they are funny. And I'm not going to argue who's funny and who's not. By the by, there's a piece, which I'm posting later on whatever. Howard Stern recognizes a bunch of us who claim listen, I said it was a work, that he'd be coming back, and he did. And he has a clip of me in there. He didn't give me attribution. I don't think he knew who I was. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. That's a business. People said Howard Stern was dead. Nobody's listening. He's back. And one day when that equation doesn't work, when for whatever reason it doesn't work, it just ends. That's it. But there is something weird about how do I say this? Any government, by virtue of the FCC. Remember, these people own, how do I say this? A lot of, how do I say this? These people own a lot of different stations. New Star, whatever, Comcast or ABC or Disney, whatever it is. And these people believe in this thing where they will say to you, this is very interesting. They will say, look, we have channels, we have stations, and we need the licenses to be renewed. And Jimmy Kimmel right now has just pissed off the President of the United States. And this President of the United States actually owns, and this is important, he actually owns, the President of the United States owns, in essence, the FCC. And the FCC are responsible for this. The FCC are responsible for this. And what these people have to grasp and have to understand is that, what are we going to do? Do we want to lose our licenses? No. What are we going to do? We are going to do some things which are very, very important. We are going to do our very best. We're going to do our very best to make people understand something. We're going to do something. We're going to show these people that we're not going to sacrifice everything just because of Howard Stern or whoever it is. That we're going to have to go along with this. So they say, so sorry, Jimmy, we don't want to lose licenses. You're gone. But that's unfair. You're right. Life is unfair. It's tough. You're right about that old sport. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. But you know what? That's the way it goes. And there's nothing you can do. There is nothing you can do. There is absolutely nothing you can do. How do I say this again? There's nothing you can do. Its time is up. We have told you. And by the way, he was told specifically, let's make good on this. And he says, no, I'm not going to do it because I'm Jimmy Kimmel. You don't understand who I am. They said, no, I don't think you understand who we are. And that's it. It was a power play. It was stupid. It was dumb. It's absolutely ridiculous. But the bottom line is simply this, and I can't say it again. We must understand there's something scary about that. But I'll handle it. I'll be able to somehow go to sleep. I'll be able somehow to figure this thing out. I will not go out of my way to lose sleep over this effort. I am not going to lose sleep over this. I Yep, that's me. That's old Howard Stern there. So, in any event, the bottom line is simply this: what does all this mean, my friends? Well, it's an interesting thing. I don't know. You're going to see the end of late night. You're going to see the end of the big salaries, and you're going to see a rise and apotheosis of something which is even better. You're going to see something even greater and more important. You're going to see this huge world, this sea change, this change of everything. You're going to see people around. I was on WABC this morning, and I'm trying to say, you don't understand something. What is happening right now? What is happening in the world regarding Tucker and Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk? Charlie Kirk was a podcast star. People in terrestrial radio don't understand it. And what they'll say sometimes is, well, I never listened. I never, well, you may not have listened, but so what? It doesn't matter. They don't understand what's going on with Israel and Kirk and these people, Candace Owens and others, Dave Smith and TPUSA in Tampa, the time with Tucker. They don't understand it. They think that cable news is their world. You don't. I said these people are bigger than anything. The vortices. You don't even remember. You couldn't even believe the number of people who were that upset over the fact of his death. Do you know how big we are? Not we, but I mean this thing that we're in. This is cutting it. You were a part of something. You were at the nascent. You saw internet come along, most of you, and then you saw some podcasting, and then you saw it explode. I started podcasting almost immediately. 2000. I don't know how many years. 10. I got you. I'm very bad on the years because I can't keep track of time. I can't. Mrs. Elba, no. And I remember speaking one time at Talkers Magazine, and I introduced Alex Jones. It was a Talkers meeting on 3rd Avenue, never forget. And I asked Michael Harrison, who's a publisher, I said, please let me introduce Alex Jones to my people. He said, okay, good. Okay, fine, no problem. And Alex and I had never met. And he was in this room by himself, and I walked in and I said, where is he? He said, he's in there. I said, Alex, I'm a big fan. I said, I'm going to introduce you. And he looked at me. He almost looked like, kiddo, can I trust you? I said, oh, you can trust me. And I went and I tried to tell these people, these are like dinosaurs. I said, do you understand what this person represents? Well, they understood when we got done because Alex just killed him, destroyed him. Talkers Magazine voted me the pioneer. Put it this way. I had to explain to people in the radio biz what podcasting even meant. They didn't know this. They didn't know what it meant. I saw this. A lot of people did. There was a fellow named Tom Likas. I don't know if Tom's doing it, but he was one of the first. Anthony Cumia, my great friend, who he immediately went to a private channel. Some of these private ventures. Yesterday on with Redacted with Natalie and Clayton. More people. They've got 2 million people, subscribers. More people listen to him than anybody. I mean, not anybody. Than most of these shows. So what I'm saying to you is, you must understand we live in a different world. I speak to you differently the way I do to my terrestrial radio fans because you know things differently. You know things. You are aware of things they don't know. They're not aware of this. And it's very, very important, very critical that you grasp this part. They don't understand it. I can do more. The people can do more on Twitter. Let me give you an example. How many of you have seen people who go into business and they will say, there's a bagel place that, I'm not going to mention it. It's okay. It's okay. It's packed because they use Instagram. TikTok, maybe. I don't know. Instagram, TikTok. Okay. It's packed. They're not in any advert. There's no magazines. No, it's just be here at this time or whatever it is. There's a place near us where I went to pick Mrs. Owl up, and I went. I'm waiting, and all of a sudden, just see who a lot of Asian. I think it was like a bubble tea kind of a place. I don't know what it was, but in any event, they came out of nowhere. Came out of nowhere. It was incredible. Came out of nowhere. It was incredible. Absolutely incredible. And what was interesting more than anything else was it was all done Instagram and the like. Just out of this kind of a. I love it. So what I'm telling you is that you have a lot of the old guard and Jimmy Kimmel who doesn't understand how things work today. I worked with a very wonderful person one time in the talk radio. He says, "Do you like the First Amendment? Do you believe in the First Amendment?" I felt like saying, "You bet." He says, "Good. Go outside. You don't have a First Amendment. You work for me. This is my station. If I don't like what you say, you're out. Any questions?" I said, "No." He said, "Good. Welcome aboard." That's it. That's it. One of the most incredible things I've ever seen in my life. When you're on it is so unbelievable. So if you go out there and you say, okay, remember, pick the hill you want to die on. Pick the hill you want to die on. When I really want to understand something, I spend some time. I love the story of Charlie Kirk at the last part of his life and the problems that he had ostensibly with Israel and with Netanyahu and others. I found that to be incredibly fascinating. And where do I go for information on that? I go elsewhere. I go to various groups. I might go to people on the left. There's this boiling points or whatever it is. I might catch just to hear what they're saying. I might listen to people that I don't like. I never heard a Charlie Kirk podcast ever. Never. I'd see him sometimes. He pop up. Doesn't mean I don't like him. I've never heard a Howard Stern show. Never heard a Rush Limbaugh show, beginning to end. Never. But I respect them. Respect what they do. My tastes are different. My likes are different. That's the way I am. Alex Jones is the most important person, bar none, in my political realm. He's the beginning, the end, the Babe Ruth, the Beatles. He was the first one to really put this out. Nobody did it. Nobody. I've been saying this since day one. Since day one. Period. There are people who come along and they do this thing. I'm going to be talking to our good friend Roseanne. We're going to be doing something for the radio show. And when Roseanne was fired, she was fired for something she said, which nobody can remember now. But they just wanted her gone. Didn't hurt anybody. It fell under the rubric of racial, so that of course means that there's no questions asked. But to make a long story short, she was fired. This was her show, and the show died. Roseanne is she's the grand dame of new media. Perhaps she is like nothing else. Nobody came to her defense. Nobody cared when she was fired. Nobody cared about that. Nobody. This woman in TV, Mrs. Goldberg, who was huge, Lucille Ball, Mary Tyler Moore, Carol Burnett, Roseanne. Roseanne brought a character of this, not this fancy schmancy big. It was a great family where they loved each other. You could tell they were just the whole bit. Anyway, nobody came to her. Nobody said, "Hey." There's no. They said, "Well, that's the way it was racist. That's the way it goes." Yeah, but this was the base, the pressure, and nobody cares but the pressure. Did you see this woman from who won for Hacks? This woman who will never work again were it not for Hacks. She's with Jean Smart. Jean Smart is such a great actress. Mrs. L saw her on Broadway recently. It's one of our first venturings out into the world of Broadway because we've been kind of Broadway's it's lost my I had such a distaste for Broadway with these people. Anyway, she was very very good. The show is going to be over with. So this punk little girl, she says F ICE and Palestinian F ICE F. She says F ICE. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, that's great. Isn't that great? That's just terrific. F ICE. And something about pro Palestine. Oh, she cares about Palestine? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. You do such a disservice of the cause when you wear it. You swear you worry about the thousands of innocent lives lost, children and families destroyed. But you wear your political activism like you do a lapel pin, per usual. Don't forget, lapel pins mean this person. Anybody who has to wear a lapel pin is signaling, I don't know much about this, but I want you to know that this is what I believe in. I want you to understand something. We need to do an affirmation of faith. I am not a conspiracy theorist, but history is nothing but a conspiracy, a group of two or more people bound together in a kind of an illicit, illegal, nefarious cabal. That is precisely what it is. You may not want to think that, but it's true. And I have no problem in pointing it out to you. What is going on regarding the most complicated issue? So many issues. See, I love taking the contrarian position because it's normally right. How many of you think Kash Patel did a wonderful job? How many? How many of you think he did a wonderful job? Oh, boy, I was so proud of him. Boy, he let that Adam Schiff have. He let that Cory Booker have it. How many of you think he did such a wonderful, wonderful job? Come on. You loved it. He was great when he said BS. No, but I say he did bullshit. He said this. What you love that stuff because that's what it is to you. This is WWE. You love that. That's what you like. You call that bravery, right? You call that bravery. Like you think that Candace Owens is so brave. She is an opportunity. But you don't see it like that because she's entertaining. You like her spunk. You think she's entertaining. That she's really, right? Well, she can do whatever she wants. She's not the director of the FBI. But Kash Patel made a fool out of himself. Dan Bongino, little boy. Kristi Noem with the hair extensions and hey, I'm Malibu Barbie or whatever. Pam Bondi and what she had to say recently about free speech and hate speech. I can't believe what I'm saying. I can't believe what I'm saying. I don't fit in. I may like them for other things, but this is stupid. I would have reeled them in. Somebody sent me a picture yesterday of a YouTube piece. And it showed this second shooter. And they basically said that somebody pulled a pistol, I think it was like a pistol or handgun, right with people around him, and fired. And the person said, well, I said, well, nice try. Goes, don't you believe it? What about the video you said? He thought it was real because it was grainy. Or because it was on Facebook. I said, a pistol in front of all these people? No. If anything, it might have been a rifle up. But the point is, in this Discord group that everybody wants to get shut down, somebody reviewed them and they talk. These are 20 something. They don't talk about anything really that deep. They're just kind of punky kids, and they're like, okay, so what? I want you to understand something. Whenever the crowd thinks something, that's when I say, I don't know if I want to believe this. Oh, you all like cash? Let me review this. Oh, you don't think there was a second shooter? Let me look into this. Whatever the majority thinks, I tend to think the opposite. The majority is wrong. The majority is wrong. Because the majority is a bunch of people who give up their individual opinion to be a part of the whole. It's not that they happen to be a group of a lot of people who share an opinion. No, they want to be a part of this. There was a part of the MAGA stuff, which I thought was kind of like, I don't want to really, I mean, I feel stupid. I'm not going to, by myself, I'll wear a hat, I'll wear a flag, I'll do all that stuff. But I don't like to be in crowds with people. I just don't like to do that. And what you've always done is you've always said, in a weird way, you may not agree with it, but you've respected the fact that whatever I say, I don't care whether it's popular or not. In 2016, I said, 2020, I said he's going to lose this. He's going to lose this. And you got very upset. This is upsetting to me. You said this. You told me this. I said, I don't care. Tough titty. That's the way it goes. Tough titty said the kitty when the milk ran dry. Remember that? He's blowing this. What is Trump doing? I said today, have you seen Melania's hat? What the hell is that thing? It's like a UFO landing on. Oh, stop it. She's beautiful. I talked about the hat. See that? They don't even listen to what I'm saying. They don't listen to what I'm saying. I'm asking, do you know whether this fellow even admitted to it? Did he confess to anything? I don't know. Did he? I don't know. I don't know. So let me just explain something to you. The reason why Jimmy Kimmel was fired so easily is the same reason why we don't give a damn about cable news. There is no, you can go on any cable news show and say, what are you doing about the allegations that they had, that Bill Ackman and others had an intervention, it is alleged, for Charlie Kirk at the Hamptons. And he was furious, and you could even see it when he was on Megyn Kelly's show, when he was basically told by Netanyahu and others, you better go along, you better remember who brought you to the dance, and we're going to invite you to Israel. What? He was furious. Anybody? Did you hear that on any cable news show? No. Most people don't even know what I'm talking about. Bill Ackman. They don't know anything. The name never comes up. And by the way, if you ever listen to me, I never give Bill Ackman or AIPAC or the NRA or anybody grief for promoting their own particular cause. I don't. You may. I've got a friend of mine who were so, you mentioned Zionism, and they just go crazy. That's up to them. What I'm telling you is I want to tell you the truth. Okay? And what is happening right now, cable news is so dead, and late night is dead. You've got some of the best 24/7 really good comedians that you can find somebody you like, and you can just you can adjust the spice level, whether it's obscene, not so obscene, whatever it is. Jimmy Kimmel's dead. We're not going to wait till 11, whatever it is, to hear a joke he makes with 20 writers about the president. It just does. It does. It's over with. It's over with. It's over with. Certain times there's this. In New York City, the delicatessen was an institution. Cats, Russ and Sons, and there's some others. Barney Greengrass and Katz's is probably because they own the building. And somebody said years ago the demise of the delicatessen is because people aren't eating as heavy. This is a Jewish matzo ball soup and all this style it's not. So it's nothing against the quality of the food. Things kind of sort of change. They just change. Certain things come about, and they're the biggest things in town. And there's this again, it's a study of crowds. And our crowd says, I want to find out, why was Charlie Kirk really killed? And there were people. Remember when Timothy McVeigh was found guilty? He wasn't alone in that at all. Neither was Son of Sam. Neither was Son of Sam. You get what I'm saying? Neither was Son of Sam. Maury Terry said that Son of Sam was, who was an old friend of mine, Maury Terry said that Son of Sam was basically part of a group of people. It was really a snuff film group. They go out and shoot people to record it. Stacy Moskowitz may have been there. It was a whole other theory. But all these police who made their promotions and their pensions and their all this, they're not going to go back and say, we made a mistake. It was a satanic group, and Maury Terry's right. No. We know better than this. Kimmel never understood this. We know how the world is done. We understand it. And what's happening right now is that everybody wants to steal the shadow, steal the energy of Charlie Kirk. And Ben Shapiro, who was sent by AIPAC, well, he's an Orthodox. He and Mark Levin are two of the strongest Israeli agents of them all. Again, nothing wrong with that. There are people who were agents of the environmental groups who were climate activists and the like. Anyway, these people are now trying, among others, Glenn Beck, trying to say, I'll pick up the mantle. And Erica Cook, I hope she's got somebody watching her, because they're going to put all the pressure on her to give in. So we're going to be watching this. Colbert's gone. Kimmel's gone. Who's next? Seth Meyers. Because it's over with. There are more people I know who say, who's Seth Meyers? No, I don't know. It's over, my friends. So let me remind you to pay attention. Do not lose faith, but listen for yourself. Don't be a part of the crew. Be critical, be skeptical, believe in the president, but don't sign on just because, well, I've got to say I'm MAGA. No, you don't have to say anything. If you don't like what he did, don't say it. Speak your mind. You are not owned. You're a bright and a talented and an incredibly important human being. Don't ever forget that, all right? Don't ever forget that. Think what you want. That's all. Anyway, I hope everybody's having a great day. I think tomorrow is the last day, or coming up. It's not really fall yet. It's not really fall, whatever that means. But right now, it's a beauteous day. So bright and terrific in New York City. I hope you're doing great. Mrs. L is going crazy today in D.C. She'll be reporting tomorrow. She, what a schedule. She was out there at 4 a.m. She works harder than anything you've ever seen and knows more people. She is absolutely in her world. She's a rock star. That's why I'm madly in love with her, because I respect her. Because let me tell you something, my friends. Let me tell you something. Beauty is one thing, sexy is one thing, but there is nothing more beautiful and more sexy than a smart as hell, powerful woman who's committed to a cause that you respect. It's like, wow. Oh, there ain't nothing like that. You don't see that you don't see it a lot of places because it's so rare. That goes for people who even have an opinion. much less know what's going on. So anyway, that's what that is. I hope everybody's great. Don't forget, follow Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors. Make sure you always listen, of course, to us, to me on WABC, 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. overnights. Oh, it is the greatest spectacle of people that don't know what the hell they're talking about. It's fantastic. It's you've got to hear this. It's like no other time has these folks. And also, my friends, listen. Don't do this for me. If you have to go 1 week without food, trust me, you don't have the ability to do it. I know you might think so. You don't. Well, I got some bottle of jarred prunes. It doesn't matter. You don't. Believe me when I'm telling you, you don't. Do yourself and your family a favor. Make sure you go to preparewithlionel.com. Preparewithlionel.com. Just peruse the fare. Look at this stuff. But use this link, preparewithlionel.com, because they support us and we support them. Don't use any other link other than preparewithlionel.com. All right? Okay. All right, dear friends. Have a great and a glorious day. Enjoy the day. Read, learn, hug the ones you love. Remember, this isn't a dress rehearsal. Nobody gets out alive. But in the meantime, do something that's important. Do something that makes a difference. Not joining a club, not buying something, not driving a particular car like a Yugo, a stretch. But do something to make an impact in the world with your brilliance. Use your energy. Use your voice. Make sure you're on social media. Make sure you speak your mind and speak eloquently. All right, dear friends, that's all. Have a great and a glorious day. You are just absolutely terrific. And to you, Ryan, our sole benefactor this afternoon, with the Soul Super Chat, I thank you, sir. You are most kind and most appreciated. All right, dear friends, we'll see you later. Maybe later tonight. Always stay tuned. And always make sure you come back to find out when the next live is. I wish you well. I love you madly. Have a great and glorious day. Don't forget the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Da-da.